Growing up, man, I never took a liking to Transformers until the big motion picture movies came in theaters back in the 2000s. You know the ones I'm talking about, the ones with Megan Fox. Even then, that was as deep as my fandom would go. So when digging for my next anime to get into on the channel, I thought, why not let my entryway into true Transformers be represented by a 15-minute OVA from '86 produced by Toei Animation and chronologically taking place following the TV series' second season? Unfathomed ages ago, a war took place between the Autobots. By the way, I'm saying Autobots, but they're cybertrons in the Japanese version, and the Deceptacons, which is really the Destrons, which led to the extinction of their planet and many leftover Transformers landing on Earth. As years pass, these Transformers from both sides of the war were regenerated by machines and restored to mobility. This, from what I understand, is the general story of Transformers, and where Scramble City begins to build its own unique story from the franchise. The early minutes of the story use footage from Generation 1, and then the rest of this half an hour entry, Project Scramble City is bubbling up on a planet built somewhere distant from the general population of human civilization with a purpose of stopping the Decepticons from apexing them. These efforts are ruled under the dominance of the Autobots leader, Ultra Magnus. Scramble City is a safe haven for the team to strategically develop and execute a strategy to defend and attack against the Decepticons and at least match the power they withhold. The construct is equipped with many abilities such as its own transforming technique, not unlike that of the individual Transformer machines, and represents the strongest link of the team's offensive and defensive structure. The OVA takes the time to express the significance of the base to the viewers, as once the intelligence sector of the Decepticons discovered the construction of the Scramble City Fortress about midway through the anime, they immediately execute an infiltration mission. The Decepticons seem to have everything together off rip, and their main concern is to annihilate the opposing team, but you notice quickly how intelligent their organization is and the many levels to which they have protected themselves against the many conniving attempts of the Decepticons. That I'm speaking of is the Autobots. From what I barely remember and understand about Transformers, this OVA isn't too far from what is to be expected from the franchise. There's a lot of strategy and skill to the way this war is waged, and the experience feels more aligned with your standard mid-80s mecha anime. Actually, if any of you seen the original 0079 Gundam anime, it has that gong sound effect sometimes that you hear at the halfway point of that series. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, that comparison is where all the downsides lie, because we're met with a low budget for art and animation, not the most thrilling direction, delivery, and a lot left to be desired when this is finished. I'd honestly be lying if I told you that this was worth watching, probably even if you're a die-hard Transformers fan, because not only is it not the most enticing experience, spoiler, it ends on a cliffhanger, and the type of cliffhanger you'd want to see the next episode for. So yeah, and it sort of just exists just because it was the 80s and Transformers, or generally mecha, were at its biggest demand in animation fandom. Superion and Menasor, the ultimate transformations from the Autobots and Decepticons, were cool towards the end, but that last 5 minutes were as thrilled as I got from the entire experience. Backtracking quick on that cliffhanger, the closest thing to closure that wasn't even closure was this commercial that came out for some toys that was like stop motion animation, but it was more like a retelling of this than any kind of sequel. Yeah, I think it'd be better if they at least did one more closure episode and wrap the battle up, cause it's going to have to hold a major L for that. Let's be real. With me knowing there was a Scramble City toy line, I'm not gonna buy any other justification for this thing's existence beyond glorified marketing and promotion. Don't get it twisted, this was far from bad. But is it worth wasting time watching, regardless if you lose as much time as cooking a frozen pizza? Nah. Like the video, comment down below what y'all want to see next. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Anime back when.